Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. It is Wednesday, December 28th, 2022. I'm your host, John June. This guy to my left, Greg Penniman, a.k.a. G Money. Greg, how you doing today?
Doing well, man. This Wednesday before this Thursday night football. Got the Titans in Dallas. Guess I'm pouring in for one of the teams in this specific week. But yeah, we got some championship week for some leagues, most leagues, I would say. And yeah, it's a big week for sure.
Big week for sure. Definitely, most leagues are having their championship week this week. And so, it's definitely a pivotal week this week for fantasy managers as they try to navigate all of the possible landmines that is managing a fantasy football team, including your star running back, your pivotal running back, Derrick Henry, possibly not playing, listed as doubtful with a hip injury. And like we talked about on the Monday show, when we talked about waivers, or the Tuesday show rather, we talked about waivers. There was this possibility that the Tennessee Titans could sit their players because their playoffs essentially don't start till next week. Their matchup this week against the Dallas Cowboys does not matter. What really matters is their matchup next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars as they battle for the AFC South title. So that being said, Derrick Henry listed as doubtful, not expected to play. That is huge news. Obviously, we're going to break down that game, but Hassan Haskins is the backup there. Obviously, we'll discuss all of that in a bit. But we did talk about Lamar Jackson. He's probably not going to play in this game this week. Jalen Hurts, he's still up in the air as to whether he will play. So that's definitely something that fantasy managers will want to take note of, pay attention to, as we've talked about in the past. Just if you approach it as if that player will not play, then there's no concerns there when you are setting your lineup as to whether you have an expectation because you've planned for them not to play. You've already got your ducks in a row there, and if that player does end up playing, that's just a boost there. Greg, any of these injuries, how are you dealing with these injuries if you have to account for a player being out that you've been counting on all year?
Yeah, Derrick Henry. Some of these guys are just not replaceable as far as production. A Derrick Henry, a Jalen Hurts, obviously, but you Gardner Minshew did play well last week. You can probably count on him again to give you solid numbers this week if he goes. But yeah, some of these guys you're not gonna be able to play. So hopefully, to replace. So hopefully, you're able to get some of those guys you mentioned in the waiver wire episode yesterday. And if not, then yeah, it's definitely gonna be definitely hard to adjust for sure. It's just the luck of the draw sometimes in fantasy for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely it sucks if you made it all this way with Derrick Henry on the back of Derrick Henry, and now you have to essentially make
Yeah,
make a
finding out on the Wednesday too, so you're like finding out the day after the claims and stuff. So it's tough.
yeah, but we knew this was a possibility, right? Hopefully you made it to contingency plans. You were able to get yourself a Tyler Algier who, talk about waiver wire pickups of the week. I notice how I can say this now, Greg, without wanting to shed a tear. So I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
Let's move on to these streams of the week, Greg. So if there's our folks who are in trouble, we can do our best here to help them out. Who are you recommending here, Greg, as your quarterback stream of the week?
The man is back. You already know. Mac White versus Seattle this week.
You just called
21%.
him Mac?
I was saying Magic. I was trying to say Magic Mike White, but Magic Mike White, Mike White versus Seattle. 21% rostered. I mean, over the 3 games that he played when he was healthy, he's averaging 317 yards. I mean, that's a monster number as far as yardage. This is a good matchup against Seattle. I expect close to 300 yards again, and at least close to 2 touchdowns. What Mike White does for this offense is just significantly better than what Zach Wilson does. You see the ball moving, they're getting first downs, so I see no reason why he shouldn't continue that in Seattle in the game that the Jets want to continue to stay competitive, not eliminated out here, so they want to get some wins.
Yeah, I mean they have a scenario where they have control over their own destiny. They take care of business. They just need, some help, and they're into the playoffs for the first time since 2010. So let's, I guess, I'll talk about my quarterback of the week, and I'm going to a former New York Jet quarterback in Sam Darnold. He's 7% rostered going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's been playing well. He started 4 games, has yet to throw an interception through those 4 starts. He has a passing touchdown in each one of those 4 starts. He's been over 225 passing yards in the last 2 games, completing 64% of his passes in those 2 games. He's even been using his legs as well, 2 rushing touchdowns in those 4 games as well. Tampa Bay, middle of the road in terms of fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position, but this is a must-win team for both these two teams, and they should there should be a competitive game with some back and forth nature to it. And so Darnold, he can definitely help you out in deep leagues, or if somebody's playing defense against you and not letting you get quarterbacks, you're getting blocked. So I think he's definitely an option as well as super flex leagues.
Yeah, definitely a good option. Sam Darnold coming for a solid week last week, where they just destroyed Detroit's defense in both ways. So yeah, look to him.
Yeah, definitely. Greg, what do you got at tight end stream of the week this week?
Going with Greg Dolchich, going against Kansas City, 48% rostered. Kansas City, one being a good matchup. Two, Greg Dolchich being one of the top guys for target share on his team. Last 3 weeks, averaging close to 7 targets per game. So he's been a guy that's definitely been involved in the offense. I think he's a guy that can get in the end zone. He can be a guy just involved in all 3 levels of the field. So in a good matchup for Russell Wilson and his offense, where they did do well in the previous week, where he had 8 targets in that game as well, 3 for 42. I would expect that at least in this weekend, some room for more.
Yeah, I agree because I also have Greg Dosage here as my tight end stream of the week. Again, for me, it's real simple here. The matchup is nice. Kansas City allows the 6th most PPR points to the tight end position over their last 3 matchups, and this game script should allow for more passing here for Denver as they try to keep pace with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, as they did last time. Plus, they just fired Nathaniel Hackett, so there's also this, that whole the team plays better when the head coach gets fired narrative, if you want to follow that as well. And also throw out our bonus because I know we both went Greg Dosich here, and this is championship week. So I'll also throw out Noah Fant. He's
Mhm.
25% rostered, I believe, 25 or 23% rostered, but definitely available in most leagues. Plays against the New York Jets, who have been, a good matchup for the tight end position in recent weeks. Over their last three games, they've allowed the 7th most PPR points to the tight end position. So, just a hair above, or below the Kansas City Chiefs there. And Noah Fant is in an opportunity where not just Tyler Lockett might not play in this game, but Will Dissly was just placed on injured reserve there as well. So that's, he was splitting the work there with Will Dissly. He might get more full-time opportunities here, which which should mean good opportunities in the passing game in terms of fantasy production for Noah Fant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, brought him up definitely to add as a waiver. He's been hot touchdown wise as well, so definitely want to ride that wave.
Yeah, most definitely. Greg, where are you going with the defensive stream this week?
Defensive stream of the week, I'm going with Jacksonville, uh, in going against their matchup and going against
Houston.
Houston. Yeah, so obviously a team defense has been also getting turnovers, getting sacks, going against Houston. Davis Mills obviously a better quarterback in this situation, but I think in a divisional game where it can be low scoring, Jacksonville's going to hold their own, and they're going to be able to make some plays.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to pull up where Jacksonville was rostered, and they're rostered in 39% of Yahoo leagues. Yeah, I think it's a great matchup. The only concern there is if they bench their starters because they don't have to necessarily play this game and win this game. But different coaches have different philosophies, so you'll have to take this up to game time to kind of realize what the Jacksonville Jags are doing. It's not like Tennessee where we could see them on Thursday and we know exactly what they're doing and we can make plans accordingly. But I'm going to go with the New York Giants going up against Indianapolis, and this is real simple for me. Comes down to, did you basically see Nick Foles on Monday night? Uh,
It
I
was
mean,
rough.
it was rough. He was taking sacks. Was missing open receivers. The Giants are 5.5 point favorites at home. They win this game and they are playoff bound. This should be a big game here for the Giants defense against a struggling Colts offense. And when a defense can smell blood in the water, especially with what's at stake here for the New York Giants, I really feel like the Giants defense just has to dominate here.
Yeah, that pick for Thibodeau is really paying off lately. I mean, he's been a monster on that line, so he should dominate in this game.
Yeah, should definitely dominate. Thibodeau he got a lot of flack in the preseason, the pre-draft process, but like you said, he's really come into his own these last few weeks. Had that big game
Hmm.
against the Washington Commanders where he got the strip sack and the fumble recovery for a touchdown. So the
Hmm.
trifecta there as a pass rusher. But let's talk about Thursday night football, Greg, and we got to talk about a game that involves two teams that different not different points in the season per se, but different things on the line here. The 11-4 Dallas Cowboys travel to Tennessee to take on the 7-8 Tennessee Titans. This game has a 40.5 point total, where the
Hmm.
Dallas Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites. Weather is expected to be okay in this game. No concerns there. In terms of the injuries, Michael Parsons, he's limited with a hand. Uh, Tony Pollard was DNP on Tuesday with a thigh. Leighton Vander Esch, DNP on Tuesday with a shoulder injury. And then defensive end Sam Williams, he was questionable. He's listed as questionable. Derrick Henry, uh, like we talked about off the top, doubtful to play in this game with a hip injury. Would expect him to be healthy in week 18, but if you play in a week 17 championship, that doesn't mean anything to you. So you can go ahead and drop Derrick Henry and basically pick up another player there that could help you. Hassan Haskins is an interesting name that comes up, but we'll obviously discuss how we feel about him in a minute, and we'll start with Greg. How do you feel about this Thursday night game, and where are you at in terms of these players as it pertains to fantasy production?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the Cowboys to cover and the Cowboys to win. As far as the Cowboys side, I think they do kind of dominate after seeing what they did to the Colts for inferior teams. They definitely wanna they continue to pounce on teams and do what they got to do. So they could cover this over on it by themselves. I think with the matchup on the outside, Dak Prescott should have a good day, a solid day. He's borderline QB1. He's been hot the last couple of weeks, so I think I rate him as a QB1 for sure. On the outside, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver one, Michael Gallup, wide receiver two. Um, and even seems like even a third Dalton Schultz obviously is in that tight end one category. But there could be room for a T.Y. Hilton or a Noah Brown, but T.Y. Hilton's kind of getting a little more snaps in that section. But I would still stay away from him in this championship week because they are still a run first team. Tony Pollard and Zeke are both in that RB1 category. I think this defense is definitely going to struggle against this offense. And then on Tennessee side, it's rough without Derrick Henry was the main option we're looking forward to. Without him, Hassan Haskins is going to be the guy. They're still definitely a run first team, so he's going to get his fair share of carries. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he gets close to 15 carries and give you kind of a standard kind of running back day. He's capable, I think, of catching passes. He's caught some receptions this year. So I would rate him probably in that RB2, low in RB2 range, RB3 as a floor. And then as far as, the pass catchers, it's pretty much, it's tough for me. Um, and it's, with the injuries that they're facing and what they're going to do on that side of the ball, I think it's going to be all Dallas pretty much in this one. Um, and it doesn't even matter for Tennessee as well. So even more motivation for Tennessee to kind of take it easy in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take Dallas to cover the 10.5, though. Take Dallas to win. Um, for the Dallas side, it's pretty easy. CD Lamb, I mean, he's obviously coming off big game, but he's had a string of really good games now. So he's a wide receiver one. Dak Prescott going to be a low end QB one. Dalton Schultz, a tight end one. Tony Pollard and Zeke are both borderline RB ones. Obviously, going to depend on how that touchdown distribution falls. But if this game just gets ugly to the point where, like I could see Dallas pulling, starters, again, because if they're playing for nothing,
Hmm.
yeah, you guys go out there, they pad their stats, but by the third quarter, like, what if their backups are in? So, because they've got a large league. So I think that's definitely something to think about. From a DFS perspective, I think that's a concern more than anything. But redraft, you're not going to really concern that. With guys like CeeDee Lamb and the running backs, Dalton Schultz. I think I said he's a tight end one. And then on the Tennessee side, like we said, like you said, the only really thing we were coming into expecting was Derrick Henry. Really being the main basically what we wanted out of the Tennessee side, but not going to play in this game. Hassan Haskins, I agree with your assessment. Probably a an RB3 based on volume, but can sneak into an RB2 territory if he gets receptions or falls in the end zone. I think that's definitely in play, but Malik Willis could struggle against Dallas. Dallas's defense, and especially without Derrick Henry. Maybe this is an opportunity for Tennessee to say, "Hey, Malik, like grow up in as a passer, and let's try to get this pass offense because we're going to need to be able to throw the ball in the playoffs. Like they're not going to be able to do this like what they've been doing,
Hmm.
and being able to win in the playoffs. So, could be interesting." On that front, but I don't know if I'm going to really try to attach myself to a Malik Willis led pass offense. So I'm not playing Austin Hooper. I'm not playing, Chigo. I'm not playing, uh, you know, Traylon Burks or Robert Woods or Nick Westbrook or Keeney. Like I'm good off
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah. There's no point in doing that. You have a plethora of matchups and good stuff this weekend. So yeah, there's no need in doing that for sure.
Yeah, before we jump into the bold predictions, we do have a question from Little Boxes. Pick three for week 17. McLaurin, Gabe Davis, DeAndre Hopkins, and Mike Williams. Greg, where do you stand on these four receivers here? He wants to pick three of them. So basically, which one are you not playing?
I think hmm, that's tough. I think I'm a play. I'm very. I really want to go with both the boom guys. Gabe Davis and Mike Williams, the boom with both guys, because Hopkins is that. I know you saw that game with the Cardinals game in Tampa. Like that
10
is rough,
targets,
man.
one catch,
What?
4 yards.
Whew.
But
And the
but that
one
was
the
with
one
Grayson.
target was one catch was behind the line of scrimmage. Like that's the only play that can really get to him. Trevor McSorley cannot get into him at all. I think I'm gonna go with Gabe and McLaurin though. At the end of the day,
But which one? So you're not going to play Hopkins?
I'll pick three. Sorry, yeah, out of the three, McLaurin, Gabe Davis, and Mike Williams. Yeah, that game was bad, bro. It's rough to see. No quarterback change. I know they probably like, oh, let's probably
No, Colt
emphasize
McCoy.
maybe getting
Colt
him the
McCoy is coming back. Colt McCoy is
Kobe
back.
comes back. Okay, that does help a lot of bit for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
Colt McCoy has eyes for just DeAndre Hopkins.
yeah, I don't want to. I'm not inclined to play two boom or bust guys, Mike Williams and Gabe Davis. So I'm gonna go with Gabe going against Cincinnati on Monday night. I think that's gonna be a high scoring game. So I like Gabe, McLaurin, and Hopkins.
Yeah, definitely like Gabe Davis. The matchup there is great with
Yeah,
against Cincinnati.
yeah,
They look what New England's receivers were able to do last week, and this game should have a lot of back and forth nature to it. So he's definitely in. Mike Williams, I don't have him too far behind, wide receiver 21. Herbert's not really been like the touchdown variance has really favored Austin Eckler. Um,
hmm
Herbert's thrown for a ton of yards, but not throwing for a ton of touchdowns, and they get down by the red area, and Austin Eckler's getting those touchdowns. But Mike Williams, was involved even last week on Monday Night Football. He didn't have a few catches, but then you could see they started calling plays for him to get him involved. So feel like he. So really, what it comes down to, I think McLaurin is probably the biggest wild card, honestly, when it comes down to
yeah,
it, because you get the quarterback change. He wasn't great with Carson Wentz early. Taylor Heineke came in and was like, I'm just going to throw the ball to Terry McLaurin. Does Carson Wentz adopt that same ideology? I don't know. And that's just another variable that, like, if you're trying to make this decision. Little Boxes replies, Hopkins should have McCoy back and McLaurin has Wentz back. I'm definitely going Mike and Gabe, just undecided on the other one. These guys got me to the playoffs. Yeah. Again, sounds like you're set on Mike and Gabe Davis. I
a
think,
little suit. Then I would go Hopkins.
yeah, I would go Hopkins as well, because
Yeah,
Hopkins, you get Colt McCoy back. There's guaranteed role there, guaranteed production. I feel like from a Colt McCoy versus McLaurin, who's been great, like he's been awesome, but there's just a lot of variables there. Jahan Dotson is involved. Um, Curtis Samuel hasn't been involved as late, so maybe there's that possibility. But yeah, I agree. If you go Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Hopkins should get it done. But I feel like all these guys are so close that it's really in the end it's not going to really matter. So good luck to you, little boxes. Greg, let's get into the bold predictions, aka those prop bets. What do you got for your bold prediction this week?
yeah, I'm definitely involving those Dallas receivers on the perimeter. Uh, I do like a CD Lamb to get at least. I'm gonna say definitely take his over on his yards, which is 73 and a half. And the rushing, I still like Tony Pollard a lot. Tony Pollard is going to get his, I think, even though they don't have his rushing props up yet, I don't see anything.
Yeah, he's dealing with a thigh injury, so I don't think they're putting
Hmm.
anything up yet, just in case he.
Hmm. All right, then. I'll parlay that with just a Dalton Schultz over then. Both of both of those pass catchers, which is plus 246. CeeDee Lamb over 73 and a half. Dalton Schultz over 38 and a half. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm going with CD Lamb over 71 or well, it's over 73 and a half. I got it earlier at 71, but 73
Nice,
is still
nice.
good. I still like that. I have him for 70. I have him down for 77 in this game. And then I like parlaying that with a Zeke anytime touchdown.
Woo!
I was able to get that at plus 248. I don't know what it is right now. Let me just confirm what it would be. Or if you wanted, no, let's see. Like I said, I got it earlier today at plus 248. So 73 and a half. And then Zeke anytime touchdown is now plus 185. So
Wow.
not as much juice as we would have liked there, or what I got it for earlier, but definitely still like the probability here of this one happening, because the matchup is great. Even if they put backups in, CD should kill those backups, and then Zeke getting a touchdown just feels like almost guaranteed in this game, whether Pollard plays or not. So, Greg, anything else you want to add for Thursday night football before we go ahead and close this out?
No, man. I mean, should be hopefully a good game. Hopefully, a lot of starters can play as long as possible. Yeah, we get some solid play.
Definitely hope that goes down tomorrow. Just tune in tomorrow around noon, and we will break down every single week 17 matchup, excluding the one that we just broke down right now, because that would be redundant and all. Anyway, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one, and then we'll see y'all on Monday again. But we are out of here. Peace, y'all.
Yeah.